24th of March. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Highness Sayyid Diyazan bin Haytham bin Tariq Al Said, the Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth, will patronize the Together We Progress Forum, organized by the General Secretariat of the Council of Ministers on Sunday to review the government's policies and priorities in various topics and discuss them with the audience represented by the various segments and groups of society. The forum is being organized for the first time and it will cover 3 topics, namely Oman Vision 2040 and the mechanisms to follow up on its implementation, the measures taken by the government as per the National Program for Fiscal Balance and Financial Sustainability, and the mechanisms for dealing with the issues related to labor market and employment through the National Employment Program. The forum will witness a session with their excellencies concerned with these topics, during which the questions of the attendees will be answered. The Gulf Cooperation Council countries stressed on the urgent need to enhance peace, tolerance, mutual understanding, and cooperation among individuals and communities. This came during a speech delivered in Geneva by His Excellency Idris bin Abdulrahman Al Khanjari, the Sultanate of Oman's permanent envoy to the United Nations and international organizations on behalf of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, and during his participation in the 52nd round of the Human Rights Council in Geneva. The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion on the 24th of March will start implementing the regulations on the practice of marketing and promotion activities on websites and social media. The regulation aims to regulate the marketing and promotion of all products, goods and services through social media in order to protect the merchant and the consumer, provide the necessary protection for e-commerce transactions, and preserve the rights of customers. The ministry indicated that obtaining a license for the activity of marketing and promotion on websites and social media will be via Invest Easy portal. The Abraj Energy Services Company recorded the best trading value during the current year in Muscat Stock Exchange (MSX) to reach around 40 million Omani Riyals compared to just 18.5 million Omani Riyals and 14 million Omani Riyals in the last 2 weeks. The company pushed the market value of the securities enlisted in MSX to raise by the end of Thursday's trading to reach 23.9 billion Omani Riyals. The market value of Abraj Energy Services Company exceeded 229 million Omani Riyals. Meanwhile, the capital of the company reached 77 million Omani Riyals. The total volume of insured sales of Omani exports and local sales in Credit Oman for the past year reached more than 330 million Omani Riyals. The consumer food sector topped the value of insured sales during the past year with a value of nearly 160 million Omani Riyals. Credit Oman continues its efforts to advance economic development through its insurance services that help manufacturers and business owners to sell their products and increase their sale volume. Salalah Airport was crowned for the 5th consecutive time as a certified 5-star regional airport by the Skytrax organization in the ratings of international airports of 2023. This came during a ceremony in the Netherlands capital Amsterdam. The International Airports Awards are considered one of the pioneering awards in the airport sector, where the voting is done by clients on an annual basis and in terms of their satisfaction with the airports. Egypt's foreign minister said talks with Turkey on the possibility of restoring ties to ambassadorial level would happen at the appropriate time and depending on the positive results it brings during the first visit to Cairo by Turkey's top diplomats since ties ruptured a decade ago. At a joint news conference with the Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri, Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu said Turkey would upgrade its diplomatic relations with Egypt to ambassadorial level as soon as possible. The Turkish Foreign Minister stressed on taking concrete steps for normalizing relations with Egypt. The UN World Food Programme has been forced to cut rations to 4 million Afghans this month due to a funding shortfall in the midst of the country's severe humanitarian crisis. The UN Food Agency is in urgent need of $93 million in funding to reach 30 million people in Afghanistan by April. The drop in rations comes at the end of a particularly harsh, deadly winter when many families have depleted their food stores and before the next harvest season around May. The United Nations estimated that around 90% of Afghans cannot afford enough food. Still to come on News Bulletin. The farmers in the Wilaya of Tamrit expect to harvest 5,000 tons of wheat in Najd area farms. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The Oman Public Health Promotion Society organized a seminar on health and psychological care of the elderly in cooperation with the Ministry of Health, represented in the Directorate General of Health Services and the Governorate of Buremi. A number of specialists and lecturers took part in the seminar that came to shed light on the Alzheimer's disease and related disorders, which are considered common types of diseases among the elderly category. It also focused on the necessity to take care of the elderly category in the community, as well as the role of the Oman Public Health Promotion Society in supporting the elderly. The work papers presented during the seminar highlighted the treatment services available for the patients of Alzheimer's disease, as well as social aspects related to the elderly. The seminar was accompanied by an exhibition including photos of the elderly within the Omani society. The second Oman Forum on Pharmacovigilance and the meeting of Arab pharmacovigilance officials hosted by the Sultanate of Oman concluded its two-day event. More details in the following report.
The second Oman Forum on Pharmacovigilance, hosted by the Sultanate of Oman, including meeting of Arab pharmacovigilance officials, concluded its two-day event. The participants, experts of pharmacovigilance from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, Bahrain, Egypt, Lebanon, Yemen, and Jordan, as well as speakers and experts from pharmaceutical companies, reviewed the developments in the field of pharmacovigilance and medication safety, the developments of Arab pharmacovigilance guidelines, and the mechanism of regional cooperation in the field of pharmacovigilance in the Arab countries.
I would like to thank Minister of Health and and Sultanate Oman for inviting us to the second PV Forum, which gave us the opportunity to share our experience in PV field, including the importance of safety communication, the establishment of the regional PV centers in Saudi Arabia, and PV inspections, where we discussed the Saudi GVP guidelines along with challenges and opportunities.
The two-day event was organized by the Ministry of Health, represented by the Department of Pharmacovigilance and Drug Information and the Directorate General of Pharmaceutical Affairs and Drug Control.
The purpose of this second Oman Pharmacovigilance Forum is to discuss and review the pharmacovigilance guidelines in the GCC and Arab countries, with ultimate goal that patients eventually do receive medicine that's of high quality and safety.
It's worth mentioning that pharmacovigilance is making tremendous impacts in medical sciences and pharmaceuticals. Its activities continuously evolve as new information emerges regarding existing drugs and new products become available on the market in order to ensure maximum patient safety at all times, while still allowing them access to effective treatments for their medical needs.
The farmers in the Wilaya of Thamrit stressed on expectations to harvest 5,000 tons of wheat in Najd area farms. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources provided a number of new wheat harvesters to encourage the farmers on the necessity of these crops in the global food security system. The wheat covers an area of 5,000 acres in the Najd area farms, as it is considered one of the promising areas in terms of planting this type of crops. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's news bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Highness Sayyid Yazan bin Haytham Al Said will patronize the Together We Progress Forum tomorrow to review the government's policies and priorities. The Gulf Cooperation Council countries stress in Geneva on the urgent need to enhance peace and tolerance among individuals and communities. And the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion will start implementing the regulations on the practice of marketing and promotion activities on websites and social media on the 24th of March. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin from all of us here at the newsroom and the studios. Thank you for watching and have a good night.